Hey there, long-term use review time. This is the Gerber Dime Mini Multi-Tool. What's a mini multi-tool? Well, this is the size of a pretty usual multi-tool. It's a Victorinox Swiss tool X, and this is the mini multi-tool. And really, these tools have about the same amount of things in them, except they're bigger on this and they have a few more features. So mini multi-tools became a pretty crowded market. This was Gerber's offering. There are a couple of other Gerber offerings, but it's a pretty common Leatherman Squirt ES4, the PS4 being the same, and Leatherman Micras as well. Pretty crowded little sector, not to mention all little Victorinox classic variants, the Rambler and the Mini Champ and all those sorts of things. So the common consensus is that you're going to think one of these two is better, the Leatherman Squirt or the Gerber Dime. I think the Gerber Dime is better. Why do I think it's better? Because the tools that I use more are more prominent on the thing, and it doesn't have the tools that I don't really need. And if it does, then they are less prominent. So as you can see by mine, was the black tactical version of it. It's become well worn just from pocket wear. The way I'd usually use my Gerber Dime was in the coin pocket, accompanied by my Falkniven U4 locking folding knife. I always prefer to have a locking blade. And the torch companion would be the Titan, or before that, which is a relatively new acquisition, the Phoenix E01, a very small little, well actually it's about the same size as the Titan, but it's about 10% as bright as the Titan, so, but that's an aside. Check those beam shots, hey. Anyway, so the Dime has been on my keys or in my pocket for around 18 months now. Sometimes I'd swap it out for the smaller Micras or the Victorinoxes, but I reckon about 3 days out of 7 the Gerber Dime was coming along. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over each of the tools and tell you how it's worn, whether I even used it, and what I would rate it out of 10. So let's start with the drivers. Flat driver, two-dimensional Phillips driver. Flat driver, I did a little bit of light prying on, and that's about it. So I really don't come across too many flathead screws in my day-to-day, so not as super useful. Probably give that about a, well I mean it's still a functional flat driver, probably give that about a 7 out of 10. Little Phillips here, it's not too bad. It's got a little file on it which is you know, probably a 0 out of 10 file because there's just not enough space of it, and you just find yourself hitting either the bottle opener or the lanyard ring. Of course you can open the tool and use the pliers use the file like so, but still just too much coverage from the tool for this part here to be of any use at all. However, the Phillips head driver, really good. It's just sort of triangular enough to get into most smaller Phillipses, and yeah, you can torque it fairly well. It's pretty stable inside the frame of the tool, so it's a pretty good tool. I'll give that about an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Moving to the opposite side of the two drivers, you get a pair of scissors. Quite a good little pair of scissors. There's no vulnerable spring. There's a single spring, there's a leaf spring that's coming across there, you can see. And when you squeeze them shut, they're sort of held in place by that little, you can see that little white dot there? That runs on that track, so you can't overextend the scissors, which is probably good, because you just find these sorts of strange things happen in your pockets. So that's cool. The scissors are fairly sharp. They cut most paper and like even slightly thicker card and cardboard, things like that, but you're mainly going to use them for cutting tags off of new clothes and stuff like that. Pretty good scissors. Opposite side to the scissors, you've got this package opener, which I think is a great idea, and I do probably use this, probably one of the most often used tools on the Dime. The package opener, you can get it into sort of this shoulder here sort of stops it from getting any further into the clamshell package, so you don't end up damaging what's inside. Quite a sharp little scalpel blade, and here comes the cat. Hello kitty. Sharp little scalpel type blade, quite unique to this tool. Leatherman put it on their larger sidekick and wingman multi-tools, but I don't really see the point on a bigger tool like that. It's just a great little pocket sized thing to have. And a little plain blade, little sheep's foot style reverse tanto blade. Very hard to get this sharp. It's made of 3CR13, pretty low carbon steel, so it doesn't really get super sharp. And if you do get it there, it doesn't stay super sharp for long, but it's a fine utility edge for what you're going to be using a knife this small. And of course there's a slip joint. So probably the secondary tool is this bottle opener here. It's quite prominent, and it's a very good bottle opener. It gets full on grip to any bottle, gets it off in one go. Very good little opener. Primary tool being the pliers, which is probably the one area that Leatherman sort of trumps this tool. The pliers have always been a little bit rickety. Not that they've ever been ineffective, and of course they do come together just fine, so you can pull hairs out with them. However, when you look at them from the top, I'll probably be able to show you, they sort of do, they wriggle against each other. So there you go. A little bit of a fit and finish snafu more than anything. The wire cutters will cut paper clips, but nothing really any thicker, as this is the same with the Leatherman. So, dime, sort of moderately used Leatherman. Well, this is the ES4, I carry this one sometimes. Still has a pretty effective plier head, just rather than knurling you get wire cutters, which I think is about as useful. I mean, you're not going to be turning bolts with either of these, so these have a good needle nose tip as well, so very good comparison still. And then the Micro, which is the scissor-based platform there. So I think in terms of a few little X factors, I think the Gerber dime definitely looks the cooler one as well, which lots of these sorts of things are kind of pocket drawery anyway. And most importantly, it's a long-term review. It's held up really, really well. The plier snafu was like that when I got it. Nothing's got any weaker or deteriorated at all. I've sharpened the knife a few times. The knife hasn't worn away. The steel's not that so terrible that it just vanishes when you put it on a belt sharpener, like a work sharp. And everything else has been pretty much ship-shape. So I'd really highly recommend the Gerber dime after 18 months of pretty constant use. I would still highly recommend the Leatherman Squirt series. The Leatherman Micro series, however, geez, I wish the dog would stop barking. That's Cedric, for example. The Micro series, I think scissors are sort of better as a secondary tool rather than primary, and I think I'd always prefer to have a little pair of pliers. Although these are quite good, and probably scissors better for taking bigger tasks on. So there we are, a little set of mini multi-tools, but mainly a long-term use of the Gerber dime. Very positive, very good little tool. And thank you all for watching. See you later.